Behind every sumo match, there is a universe of more than 82 different ways to win, known as kimarite. Some are so fast that there is hardly time to blink, while others look like choreographies of cunning and balance at the limit. On the SumoSpirit channel, we explain all the techniques. Let's begin. Yorikiri, the frontal force out, the foundation of belt sumo. Secure the mawashi, keep your hips low, and walk your man out with steady pressure. The king of this move? Yokozuna Terunofuji wins an outsized share of his bouts this way, reflecting his Yotsu first style and iron grip. Yorikiri is consistently among the top 2 finishes in modern kimarite distributions. Oshidashi, the frontal push out. No belt, just straight arm shoves to chest and shoulders while denying grips. Takakeisho and Tamawashi are textbook oshi specialists. Constant shocks of power keep foes off the belt. Along with Yorikiri, Oshidashi dominates top division win charts year after year. Hatakikomi, the slap down. This kimarite is about using the opponent's charge against them. A quick slap to the shoulder or upper back to dump them forward. It pairs naturally with hard pushers. When rivals lunge to grab, they overcommit and eat clay. NHK and the JSA list it as a standard, high-frequency, special technique. The king of this movement, Aoyama. Hiki otoshi, the pull-down. Looks like hatakikomi, but feels like a tug. Catch the arm divided by shoulder and pull as you angle off. NHK breaks it down as a core pull-down in the modern repertoire. Abi's blitz starts off and flow into hiki otoshi counters when opponents lean too far. This time against Hoshoryu. Tsukidashi, the thrust out. A barrage of open-hand thrusts, tsuki or tsupari, that walks an opponent straight over the straw. Win distribution roundups routinely place tsukidashi among the most common finishes. Veteran Tamawashi made a career out of this all-gas, no-belt approach. Tsuki otoshi, the thrust down. Time a stiff arm to the shoulder or ribs and turn the angle so the rival spills forward. No belt contact. It's a signature secondary weapon for oshi wrestlers like Takakeisho after the oshidashi. Analysts describe it as a thrusting, sidestep down, distinct from a straight push. Yori Taoshi, the frontal crush down. It's like a yorikiri with collapse. Drive, keep the chest attached, and finish with the opponent falling to the clay. Force and push families are yorikiri and oshidashi plus down variants, which make up the bulk of modern finishes. It's a staple outcome when heavy grapplers smother footwork at the edge. Oshitaoshi, the push down. It's like an oshidashi with a fall. A shove fight ends with the defender losing balance inside the ring rather than stepping out. Shows up right alongside Yoritaoshi in the force down cluster on Basho stat recaps. Great antidote to last-second pivots, keep hands active and finish through the frame. Okuridashi, the rear push out. This kimarite is to get behind the opponent in a scramble and guide them out from the back, clean and decisive. Tricksters like Mainoumi create these angles with feints and rare techniques. This time, he made this movement against the giant Konishiki. JSA classifies Okuri Dashi among the official rear finishes. Okuri Taoshi, the rear crush down, same back control as Okuri Dashi, but you finish by toppling the opponent to the surface. The JSA's kimarite list recognizes a whole family of from-behind wins, with Okuri Taoshi as the down version. Great answer when the opponent digs at the edge, lifts, drives, and folds them to the clay. Kimedashi, the armbar force out. Clamp both of your opponent's arms at the elbows or shoulders so they can't pummel or grab, then walk them straight out like you're steering a shopping cart with the brakes on. It's less common than the basic force outs, but it's perfect as a counter when the foe dives in for double inside grips. Veterans will kime the arms, sink the hips, and make the exit feel inevitable. Think of it as sumo's bear hug with purpose. Immobilize first, relocate second. Kime Taoshi, the armbar force down. Same arm clamp as Kimdashi, but instead of escorting out, you buckle them to the clay. After sealing both arms, the attacker drops weight and angles the shoulders so the opponent topples forward or sideways. It's a great answer when there's no room to finish at the bails, turning the corridor into a trapdoor. If you've seen a hug and dump at the edge, you've probably seen Kime Taoshi. Tsuridashi, the lift out. Grab the belt, straighten your back, and just pick the other guy up, feet dangling, then carry him out like luggage. It's one of the most jaw-dropping visuals in sumo, and it belongs to the powerlifters of the sport. Georgian Ozeki Tochinosho was famed for this trademark tsuridashi, repeatedly hoisting huge opponents during his prime. The official definition is exactly that. Lift by the mawashi and deposit outside the ring. It's showy, rarefied strength, and the crowd loves it. Tsuri otoshi, the lift or slam down. Same lift, different ending. Instead of walking your opponent out, you raise and angle him down to the clay for the fall. Think elevator to the basement rather than exit door. It's spectacular when there's no runway to the bales. Power plus placement wins. The formal wording is to pick up by the mawashi and throw divided by slam down onto the dohyo. If you like big throws without letting go of the belt, this is your popcorn move. And Asa Shoryu made this. Abise taoshi, the backward force down. Lean your entire body forward and drape it over your opponent until his heels skid and his back hits clay first. It often appears when both men are locked up, but there's no clean lane to push out, so one rikishi simply pours himself on top. When you see a heavy, smothering fold at the center ring, that's Abise taoshi doing its quiet work. Look at this example in Juryo. Uchari, the ring edge reversal. The Houdini act of sumo. You're being bulldozed out, so at the last inch you pivot backward, twist your hips, and sling the attacker past you, sometimes onto his back. It's a momentum boomerang and a certified heart stopper in highlights. Light, flexible technicians love this rescue. Even the gyoji sometimes gasps when it works. If the crowd suddenly roars after a lost bout, you probably just saw uchari. This is a hakuoho uchari example. Ushiro motare, the backward lean down. Odd but effective. With the opponent behind you, back up hard and pin him with your weight so he goes out or down from the rear clinch. It shows up in chaotic scrambles when someone circles to the back. NHK defines it plainly. Back up while he's behind and force him out divided by down. And a bout between Aminishiki and Kaisei is an example. Sokubi otoshi, the neck thrust down. A sharp shove to the head or the nape snaps posture. The attacker guides the crown down and the knees follow. It's quick, blunt, and needs no belt contact. Perfect when your foe's balance is already compromised at the clash. You'll see it sprinkled among pushers who find a brief opening and turn it into a face-first meeting with the clay. Hikake, the arm hook pull down. Bait the reach, hook the arm with both hands, then sidestep and yank your opponent stumbles past you out or down. It's part sleight of hand, part timing. Let him overcommit, then turn his extension into a leash. Tricksters and counter artists rack up surprise wins with this one. Blink and you miss the hook. Yobi modoshi, the callback and pull forward. Feint a retreat to invite the opponent in, then reel him past you with a sudden inside pull and finish by dumping him forward. It's one of the rarer named finishes, spotlighted by NHK as an uncommon momentum flip. The idea is seduction. Bring him close as if you want a clinch, then yank the center of mass into a fall. When it works, it looks like you cast a spell. He comes to you and keeps going. Look at this hakuho example. Uwatenage, the overarm outer belt throw. Get the outside belt grip, pinch the elbow tight, and wheel the hips. Your opponent goes for a dramatic ride to the clay. It's one of sumo's most cinematic throws, and a favorite of versatile technicians, because it works from many clinches. Hakuho and hoshoryu are classic can-do-it-all, throwers who lean on outer and inner arm variations. Shita tenage, the underarm inner belt throw. Slip your arm inside, lock the belt from underneath, then corkscrew, underhook leverage turns a stalemate into a sudden flip. This is the mirror twin of uwatenage and a calling card for judo savirikishi. Sukuinage, the beltless scoop throw. No belt needed, thread your arm under the armpit across the back, pivot, and scoop them forward into a tumble. It rewards timing and footwork, which is why crafty lighter rikishi, think Ura or Enho types, spring it in scrambles. Coach explainers describe it as a beltless arm throw. You'll see it when a belt fight breaks and someone keeps rotating. Look at this Kisenosato example. Kotenage, the arm lock throw. Catch the extended arm like a crowbar, turn your shoulders, and the locked limb becomes a lever to topple the opponent. No belt touch required. It's devastating when foes reach too far, but notorious for torque on the elbow or shoulder if mistimed. This is a Guido win. Kubinage, the headlock or neck throw. Wrap the head or neck, turn hard, and dump. Spectacular when it works, and a fan favorite because the arc looks like pro wrestling. Kirishima made this move part of his identity, piling up wins by Kubinage during his top division career. This time he went against Takeru Fuji. Community breakdowns and archives often single him out for this particular throw's highlight reel. Uwatedashinage, the pulling over arm throw. Same outside grip as uwatenage, but instead of wheeling, you yank forward and down, thinking outer grip plus ruthless drag. It's perfect when the opponent braces against a spin. You change gears and tumble him straight ahead. Endo made this perfect. Shitate da shinage, the pulling inner arm throw. The inside grip sibling. Sink the underhook, then haul forward, and a touch sideways so the opponent folds. It's a slick answer when your foe plants his feet to resist an inner arm rotation. The kimarite lists describe it as dragging with the underarm grip rather than fully wheeling. Subtle, but the finish feels like the floor vanishes. Tsukaminage, the pick up or lift and throw. Grip the belt, hoist, and dump. Sumo's pure pick him up and plant him moment. It's rare at the top level, but when massive grip monsters get rolling, you'll see it, and the crowd erupts. The official descriptions are literal. Grab the mawashi, lift the body off the surface, and throw down. If you like feats of strength, this is your catnip. Yaguranage, the inner thigh throw. Both wrestlers have belt grips. You spear your leg up the middle like a jack, lift with inner thigh leverage, and tip them in a grand arc. Coaches often compare it to a front uchimata style motion borrowed back and forth with other grappling arts. Koshinage, the hip throw. Sink your hips beneath the opponent's center of gravity, lock the upper body, and rotate. The classic hip is the fulcrum throw. In a belt fight, it punishes upright posture and rewards timing at the edge when space is tight. Kimarite lists include it among recognized throws. Coaching primers love it for teaching balance and rotation control. A specialist, Terutsuyoshi. Kakenage, the hook leg throw. Hook your leg around the opponent's thigh, clamp the upper body, then lift and twist, one slick snare into a sudden spill. It's acrobatic and risky. Mistime the hook, and you're the one cartwheeling. Throw-savvy wrestlers, think Hoshoryu types, fold it into their mix because it punishes high stances and busy feet. Stat nerd note, it's genuinely rare in modern top division data, which is why the crowd pops when it lands. Ipponzioi, the one-arm shoulder throw. Slip under an arm, load the opponent across one shoulder, and launch. Sumo borrows a judo classic for a crowd-pleasing flip. It shows up when a smaller, faster Rikishi wins the hand fight and turns defense into fast offense. A recent example, Hoshoryu against Wakatakakage. Commentators flagged how rarely it appears at that level, making it a highlight reel moment. Katasukashi, the under-shoulder swing down. Hook outside near the shoulder or armpit, step across, and pour the opponent forward under your shoulder line. It's the signature weapon of Midorifuji, one of the sport's smallest top division tricksters, who wins far above average with it. Coaches love it for teaching angle and timing. Fans love it because giants topple like trees. Japan Times columns even cite mastery of unusual moves like Katasukashi as a separator at the elite level. Shitate hineri, the inner grip twist down. Sink an inside belt grip, then torque. Your inner hand becomes a lever that corkscrews the torso to the clay. It's perfect when the opponent braces hard against forward pressure. You don't push, you turn. Throw-centric Rikishi blends this with inner arm throws to keep defenses guessing. Ishiura is a master of this. Uwatenage, the outer grip twist down. Now, take the outside belt grip and rotate the other way. Same idea, different lane. With the overarm hold set, a tight hip turn snaps balance, and the knees follow the hands. It's a great call when the defender digs in to stop an overarm throw. You trade spin for torque. When both men have belt grips, this change-up steals wins. Makiotoshi, the wraparound twist down. As the opponent surges, wrap lightly around an arm or torso and turn their momentum into a quick spill. No belt needed. It shines in scrambles and broken grips, especially after a failed charge. Analysts call it a classic, use what they give you finish. Angle, rotate, let gravity close the deal. It was used in the 2001 Natsu by Musoyama against Takanohana. Totari, the both hands arm pull down. See an arm stick out too far? Clamp with both hands and yank, hard, so the opponent face plants forward. It's a favorite ambush for crafty lightweights. Ura, for example, hits Totari more than most in database breakdowns. Tactically, it punishes reachers and slow recoveries after failed belt grabs. It's quick, decisive, and weirdly elegant when timed right. Kote hineri, the arm lock twist down. Unlike the arm lock throw, kotenage, there's no big lift, just a vicious torque on the forearm that buckles posture. It thrives when opponents jab an arm in too straight. You anchor the wrist divided by forearm and twist them into the mat. Think steering wheel at the elbow joint, not a sling. It's not glamorous, but it's brutally efficient. Kisenosato made it. Kubihai neri, the head neck twist down. Control the head and the body follows. Capture the neckline, turn sharply, and the whole frame topples. This one works when grips get messy and chest-to-chest shoves stall out. Because the neck is the balance command center, a small angle change can end the fight instantly. It looks dramatic and feels decisive when the twist hits clean. Ura teaches us how to do it again. Amiuchi, the casting net 2-arm sweep down. Hook both arms on one of the opponent's arms and sweep down in a motion that literally mimics casting a fishing net. It's rare, theatrical, and built for moments when a foe is tall and leaning forward. The technique's label comes from that traditional net casting action. If a throw makes the whole arena go, "What was that?" Odds are it was an amiuchi or close cousin. Harimanage, over the back belt throw. A rear belt grip turns into a dramatic whip, reaches over the opponent's back, loads his weight, then arches and sling him backward or sideways like a breaking wave. It's spectacular and genuinely rare on the big stage, logged only a few dozen times since it entered the official list. You'll often see it from strong belt wrestlers who are confident turning defense into a counter throw at the bails. The key is timing at the edge. You seem to be losing ground, then snap the throw before a foot goes out. Saba ori, the belt pull over drop. Clamp the belt, pull the opponent forward and down, and fold his posture until his knees buckle into the clay. Think of it as a controlled crunch. You're not throwing, just collapsing his frame with leverage. It shows up when a rikishi stalls a belt fight, lowers his hips, and drags the other man through his own hinge. Judges record it when that forward fold, rather than a true throw, decides the bout. Tokurinage, the two hands head divided by neck twist throw. Both hands clamp high, head or neck, then the attacker torques sharply, spiraling the opponent down in front. It's a showy finish, and surprisingly specific in the rulebook. Two-hand control, then a twist. You'll spot it when foes stand tall. The throw punishes height and loose posture, especially near the tawara, where one sharp turn ends things. Because of the neck control, referees are quick to confirm this call on the mic after the bout. Osakate, the big reverse arm twist down. Grappling near the edge, the attacker threads over the opponent's extended arm and bends backward, swinging him around and down. A reverse, overarm twist. It's a classic you charge, I pivot, bailout at the bails. Because the motion arcs backward, it looks risky until you see how the locked arm becomes a lever that flips the position. Zubuneri, the head underarm twist down. Duck the head under an arm, plant your forehead or crown as a fulcrum, then twist. His balance evaporates and he corkscrews to the floor. Judges list it as a head pivot twist down. It's wonderfully rare at the top level, which is why fans went wild when they brought it back to Makuuchi after a 25-year drought. Who? Ura. He's also famous for under-shoulder swing downs, so the surprise factor is part of his brand. Sotogake, the outer leg trip. Hook your calf around the outside of his leg, clamp the upper body, and reef him backward. His post leg vanishes, and down he goes. It's a beautiful answer to forward pressure. The move even pops up in other combat sports, thanks to its clean mechanics. One of the best Sotogake was made by Mainoumi against Musashimaru. Uchigake, the inner leg trip. Thread your calf inside his, then pull and twist so his knee line collapses inward. The inside hook steals his pillar, which is why it shines against tall, upright foes. Shin-to-shin contact plus a belt or torso tug that turns the hips. When it clicks, it looks effortless. One step and a topple. Again, Mainoumi does an amazing kimarite against Akebono. Ashituri, the single leg pick. Grab a leg like thigh, knee, or ankle, lift or yank, and guide the now three-limbed opponent out or down. It's rare enough that the crowd pops when it appears. Creative technicians, Enho is the poster child, sprinkle leg picks among an arsenal of oddities, keeping opponents guessing from tachi-ai to tawara. The official kimarite list puts it under leg tripping, divided by picking, not throws. Ketaguri, the low kick out at the charge. Right off the initial clash, the attacker flicks or sweeps the opponent's leg outward with the instep or shin while tugging down, blinking, and the big man face plants. It's legal, rare, and spicy enough to stir debate when used as a surprise opener. Asashoryu landed a ketaguri in the 2002 Harubasho against Chiyotaikai. Kekaeshi, the minor inner foot sweep. A tiny inside kick to the foot or ankle, often paired with a quick pull, unlaces the stance and tips the opponent forward. It's subtle, almost sneaky, and judges call it when that little hook clearly breaks balance. Because it's a finesse move, Lighter technicians love it when heavy pushers overcommit. One tap and the giant stumbles into the dirt. It's listed in the leg trip family alongside ashitori and ketaguri. Chongake, the pulling heel hook. Hook your heel behind his heel, tug it out from under him, and twist. His base disappears, and the fall looks instantaneous. It often pops up as a counter when both men get their legs tangled at the edge. Judges record it when that heel snag clearly breaks balance rather than a conventional trip. It's a true deep-cut kimarite. You'll see it only occasionally even in the lower ranks. Gaso hai neri, the clasped hands twist down. Both hands clasp high around the opponent's back or ribs. Then a sharp hip turn corkscrews him down sideways. It punishes tall posture, standing upright, and the twist yanks you into the clay. If you see it called, you probably witnessed a rarity. It's a cousin to tokurinage, but with the hands locked. Izori, the backwards body drop. Slip under the charge, grab behind the knees or belt, then bow backward and flip the big man over yourself, like pulling a tree over your own back. It's a classic weapon for smaller, agile rikishi who live under opponent's center of gravity. Historical tallies show it's almost never seen in the top division, only twice since the mid-50s. If your opponent's hips get too far forward, Izori turns overcommitment into a highlight. Ura appeared again. Tsutezori, the underarm forward backwards body drop. From the rare backwards body drop family, you thread under the opponent's arm, twist him behind your back, and take him down so he hits first. It's exotic. Databases list just a handful of top division wins, and modern wizard Ura is credited with reviving it for highlight reels. Think of it as an acrobatic bailout when the attacker overcommits and gives you that underarm lane. The name flags that underarm feed and forward rotation before the drop. Kaina haineri, two-handed arm twist down. Both of your arms wrap his extended arm. You pin it to your shoulder and spiral him down. No belt needed, just leverage. It's a clean answer to long reachers who stab the throat and leave an arm hanging. When rikishi like Enho snags that limb, the descent is instant. Judges call it when the shoulder pin and turn, not a throw, do the damage. Kawazugake, the hooking backward counter throw. Entangle your leg around his on the opposite side, clamp the upper body, then wind him backward over that trapped limb. Judo bans its version for injury risk. In sumo, it's legal but used sparingly, and it shows up as a dramatic counter near the bails. Think of it as chaining a leg entanglement to a backward twist down. Spot it when a defender appears to lose the belt fight, then suddenly ties a leg and reverses. It's rare, risky, and unforgettable. Takanoyama did it. Kirikaeshi, the twisting backward knee trip. Step deep so your knee sits just behind his leg, rotate the hips, and sweep him over that planted knee. It's a finesse trip, part sweep, part hinge, that punishes linear drivers who won't angle their feet. Dictionaries render it simply: knee behind the leg, twist him backward over it. When you see a collapse that looks like a pulled chair, you probably witnessed kirikaishi. Recently, Aonishiki made these against Oshoryu. Komatasukwe, the overthigh scooping body drop. Sell a throw to make him step forward, then scoop under the near thigh and lift. His weight shifts, your hips drive, and he sails backward. Manuals describe it as grabbing the underside of the thigh and elevating while steering the torso. It pairs perfectly with feints. Threaten a belt throw, then switch to the scoop the moment his leg posts. When timed right, it looks effortless, like pulling a rug. It's a connoisseur's leg attack you'll spot a few times a year. Look at this example of Yoshikaze. Kozumaturi, the ankle pick. Snatch the ankle or instep from the front, lift it just enough, and guide the fall. Sumo's minimalist takedown. Records group it with leg picks. Less common than the big ashituari, but lightning fast when it appears. The key is surprise. You rarely get a second try once a veteran feels his foot grabbed. Judges call it when the ankle lift, not a shove or throw, causes the spill. If you love clean clinical finishes, Kozuma to Ri is your jam. Mito Korozime, the triple attack force out. One move, 3 hits. Hook one leg, seize the other behind the thigh, and drive your head through the chest to bulldoze him backward. It's among the rarest recorded kimarite, made famous by small wizard Mainoumi in the early 90s and revived in the top division by Ishiura in November 2019. Video from that bout shows Nishikigi folded and marched out like a toppled wardrobe. Longtime fans wait years to see this one in Makuuchi. If sumo had a secret cheat code, this would be it. Nichonage, the body drop throw. Slip inside, post your leg across his knee like a barricade, and sweep back while you yank him forward. The body becomes a tripwire and he cartwheels over it. Nichonage looks like a judo haraigoshi cousin, but it's very much sumo. Belt grip optional, timing essential. You'll see it from crafty technicians who love to turn a straight-on clinch into a spinning fall. Because the leg blocks and the hips rotate together, it feels both heavy and whip-like. Nimaigeri, the ankle-kicking twist down. Target the ankle like a sniper. A sharp kick sweep to one, or even both. Ankles as you twist the torso makes the base vanish and the opponent corkscrew down. It punishes tall, linear drivers who plant their feet too confidently at the bales. The motion is quick enough that many fans only spot it on replay. Heel flick, hips turn, collapse. Think of it as a leg trip that lives below the knee. Because it risks a foul if misaimed, specialists pick their moments. Tokitenku made this against Ama. Omata, the thigh scooping body drop. From the clinch, scoop under the inner thigh, lift like a jack, and rotate your hips. His weight shifts backward, and you roll him over your axis. It's elegant brutality. No big throw, just perfect leverage through the leg. Smaller technicians love it against taller foes who stand narrow. When the scoop is deep, the finish looks effortless, like pulling a chair out from under him. Okurigake, the rear leg trip. Get behind him. Often after a sidestep scramble, hook his ankle from the rear and take the leg away while you guide his shoulders. The feeling is ruthless inevitability. No room, no footing, no escape. It's one of several okuri, from behind, finishes that judges group as standard rear techniques. Because the trip comes low and blind, it looks almost like the mat sneaks out from under him. Clean, mean, and decisive. Okuri hiki otoshi, the rear pull down. Same rear control, different ending. Instead of a trip or push, you yank him straight down as he stumbles forward. No belt throw, just a pure pull. This one is all about feel. As soon as his center pitches over his toes, the hands become hooks, and the ground arrives fast. It shows up after chaotic ring turns, where someone overcommits chasing a back. Judges log it when the pull, not a leg block, creates the fall. Ura again did it against Ichi Yamamoto in Makushita Okurinage, the rear throw. From behind, wrap and sling hip shoulder or a quick leg assist, and the opponent sails forward or sideways. It's the flashiest of the rear family. Less bulldozer, more lasso. Because grips vary, it rewards creativity and rings awareness at the edge. When the rotation is crisp, the throw draws a gasp. When it's messy, it still works because the defender can't square up. Okuritsuri dashi, the rear lift out. Lock the belt from behind, hoist him clear of the clay, and carry him out like oversized luggage. Sumo's purest display of backline horsepower. You'll occasionally see it from explosive lifters who love putting an exclamation mark at the bales. Definitions are straightforward. Rear grip, lift, and escort outside. It's rare in the top division, partly because getting cleanly behind a pro is tough, and hoisting him is tougher. When it happens, the crowd erupts. It's an undiluted spectacle. Okuritsuri otoshi, the rear lifting body slam. Start like the lift out, but instead of walking him off, pick him up and plant him, an emphatic lift and crash from behind. Judges differentiate it from the carry by the slam back onto the dohyo. Because timing and core strength must be perfect, it's the unicorn of rear finishes, talked about far more than seen. When it lands, the building shakes. Sakatotari, the armbar throw counter. Meet force with guile. When he reaches too far for totari, double arm pull, you turn his extended limb into a lever, pivot your hips, and reverse him into the dirt. It's a counter more than a plan A, which is why it thrills, snatched from the jaws of defeat. Judges place it among twist downs, keyed to the armbar rotation rather than a belt throw. Spot it when an overeager grabber suddenly spins and eats clay. Mainoumi did it again, wakashoyo. Shumokuzori, the bell hammer backwards body drop. The daredevil's drop, slip an arm and leg control, then fling yourself backwards so he lands first under you, named for the shape of a shrine bell hammer. Backwards body drops are among the rarest families in sumo. When one appears, veteran fans cheer like they've seen a comet. Definitions emphasize the shared position with tasukizori, but with a self-sacrifice fall to ensure your opponent hits first. Tasukizori, the reverse backwards body drop. Bind an arm and the opposite leg, tasuki style. Lift the opponent across your shoulders, then drop backwards so he lands first. It's one of sumo's unicorns. Ura famously revived the backwards body drop family in the modern era, lighting up highlight reels. Technique primers describe the grip exactly. One arm on his arm, the other on his leg, lift, rotate, and crash. Because timing and core strength must be perfect, years can pass between sightings in the top divisions. Sotomuso, the outer thigh propping twist down. Think thigh as handle. Reach across the body to block the outer leg, while your other arm locks the torso. With one twist, the knee line buckles, and the opponent corkscrews down. Definitions describe it as reaching over to block the leg while twisting him onto his back. Pure torque, not a throw. You'll see it when a forward driver plants too confidently on the outside foot. It's a subtle, crushing finish that shows up rarely enough to be a nerd favorite. Soto Tasuki Zori, the outer reverse backwards body drop. Trap an arm with one hand and loop the other around the leg, then lift and hurl the opponent sideways and back. It's the outer cousin of the famed Tasuki Zori, in the tiny family of backwards body drops. Back-arching throws like this are so rare that databases record only scattered examples across eras. When it lands, it looks like a wrestling suplex crossed with ballet. Sotokomata, the overthigh scooping body drop. Slip outside after evading a throw. Grab high on the opponent's outer thigh and jack that leg skyward so his hips float. Now roll him backward over your own leg. The thigh becomes the lever and your hip the hinge. It punishes tall, narrow stances and overextended throws near the edge. It's uncommon in the top division, which is why crowds buzz when it appears. Susoharai, the rear foot sweep. Miss a throw? Hide the counter in the hem. Snake your leg behind the opponent's and sweep as he recovers. The knee drives under his thigh while your hands tug. His base vanishes and he folds. Guides label it a rear foot sweep that often follows an avoided nage, blaming momentum. It rewards cool heads at the bales who can turn defense into a clean collapse. Enho did it against Terutsuyoshi. Susotori, the rear ankle pick. From behind, drop your hand like a trap and snatch the ankle. Lift and yank and the tower tumbles. It shines against lumbering foes who expose a heel while turning. Because it's rare in Makuuchi, any successful call gets replayed to catch the low grab. If you love clean, clinical finishes, this is leg pick minimalism at its finest. Haruma Fuji did it. Tsukita Oshi, the frontal thrust down. Think of it as the meaner cousin of Tsukidashi. After a barrage of open hand thrusts, you angle the opponent's shoulders so he spills forward to the clay. No belt grip needed. It often shows up when a pusher keeps the heat on and the defender staggers inside the ring instead of stepping out. You'll see Oshi specialists like Takakeisho or Tamawashi register these when foes bend at the waist to survive the storm. If the winner's arms are extended and the loser lands on hands or side just inside the tawara, you're probably looking at Tsukita Oshi. Tsumatori, the clawing leg pick. This is pick the ankle chaos. You snatch the opponent's foot or shin and yank up divided by forward to wipe out his base. Definitions call out the low grab and forward pull, and you'll typically see it when someone turns their hips and leaves a leg loose behind. Because it demands timing and a clean lane to the foot, it's one of those blink and you miss it finishes. Rare? Yep, and therefore extra tasty in a montage. Watashikomi, the underarm inside leg trip. Drive your man forward, slip your arm under his, and tug his near leg out from the inside. He folds like a lawn chair. Dictionaries describe it as a forward push that turns into a leg grab push down. Older match notes even nickname it a thigh grabbing push. You'll see it punish tall, narrow stances that plant the inside foot too confidently. Because the upper body is still moving forward, the leg steel feels like the floor vanishing. Uchimuso, the inner thigh propping twist down. Picture using the opponent's inner thigh as a handle. You lift or block that thigh while the other hand twists the torso and down the corkscrews. Official glossaries frame it as a leg prop plus upper body twist, pure torque, no need for a belt throw. It's the inner counterpart to the outer thigh sotomuso, and shows up when a forward driver posts too hard on the inside leg. If you love footwork traps, this is chef's kiss stuff. Hakuho did it as a yokozuna against Ozeki Kotoshogiku. Kakezori, the hooking backwards body drop. Get your head under his arm and body, sit your hips low, then hook and fold him backward over your legs, an audacious back-arched flip. The motion looks like a controlled pratfall by your opponent. In reality, it's surgical hip placement and timing. NHK technique reels describe it as notoriously difficult, which is why top division sightings are vanishingly rare. If you train it, you're probably a technician hunting for one spectacular weapon per tournament. When it works, the arena pops like you just hit a pro wrestling finisher. Waridashi, the split leg forcing out. This is control more than chaos. You seize high on the arm, often around the biceps, split the opponent's stance, and march him straight out. It punishes wrestlers who reach too straight for belt grips. Once that arm is pinned, their hips can't square. Judges categorize it among the less common control force outs, so it turns heads when announced. On the SumoSpirit channel, we explain all the techniques. Which one surprised you the most? Leave it in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe for more sumo content.